Hey YouTube solar folks, it's Phil again. Haven't been doing much but collecting materials on this project for the last couple of days, but I'll bring you up to date with what I've done so far. I've added a surge protector to the photovoltaic sensor or to photovoltaic combiner. You can see it right here. It's Midnight Solar, and it will actually let you know when it's active. Let me put this up here, and you'll see a little flash in here when I turn the photovoltaic on. See that indicates that it's active and working. So I've got that installed. I've got the cables installed from the combiner panel down into the switch box, and been holding off now, waiting on the delivery for the battery monitor. So the battery monitor came in yesterday, and it's a Magnum battery monitor. This is it. A small little box, and it's got connectors on one end of it, and the battery monitor mounts in this location inside of the switch box. So I wanted to get this in before I did some of the AC wiring that we'll talk about in a minute. Now this battery monitor comes with a cable that plugs into the MagnaSign inverter here up underneath. You'll see there's several places up underneath. There's little color-coded spots and various cables that plug into those spots, and this is one of them. So it'll plug into there, and then the twisted cable that is attached to the connector that plugs into the battery monitor wires into the shunt. Now this is a shunt that I bought with the battery monitor kit. It was only $8 more in the kit to get the shunt than to get the battery monitor without the shunt. So I decided, you know, for $8 you can't buy anything anymore. So I went ahead and bought the shunt, and I can use it in a project later on. But since I have it here, these two screws on the side are where these connectors mount and take the readings regarding the battery performance. And in addition to that, I have to put a battery positive and a battery negative lead in, and I have to put a fuse or circuit breaker in. So I've chosen to put 1 amp DC circuit breakers in and wire them into the panel. Now it'll go in this slot right here, and by the time I get that one installed plus one more, that'll leave me two additional slots for anything else that comes up that needs to be wired in. So I'll put that in, and then after that goes in, Magnum, when you buy this switch panel, they give you this nice little set of connector cables, and these connector cables are all AC, and what they do is they wire in from the top of these AC circuit breakers right here. You see these connectors right here on top? They wire into that, and then they go up into the inverter, and you can see in the side of the inverter here there's another terminal block, and the wires attach into that terminal block. So after the battery monitor gets in, then I can go ahead and put those cables in without interference. Next thing I'll go ahead and install will be this, it's a Midnight Solar state of battery charge meter. Go ahead and put that in, and that's going to go, I think we talked about this before, that's going to go over here on the side wall somewhere. And it also connects to battery plus and battery negative, and it has a need for a fuse or a circuit breaker, and I'm going to put in a 2 amp circuit breaker, and it will also go into onto the DIN rail, and that still leaves me the 2 additional slots we were talking about. So moving on from there, this right here, I just became aware of this, and I apologize to those solar folks that have been through all of this, but for those of us who are going through all this for the first time, some of these little tips and hints and things that I'm learning hopefully will be of some use to somebody. I needed this is where the main battery leads are going to come through into the box. And I needed something to keep the wires from chafing, so I was looking for a 2-inch diameter nipple about 1 inch long, and I found out that those aren't made, but these chase nipples are. And what this is, it's got like a nut on one side, it's smooth on the inside, and then you can put one of these little plastic rings on it to keep the wires from chafing, and mount that into a very thin piece of metal, and that's going to work out real well. So I'm real happy with that. Now, most of what we've talked about has been on the DC side, but what I'm going to do next is I picked up this cable today. This is a 10-3 cable with a ground, and I need to run a 30 amp. Need to put a 30 amp breaker in my main house panel and run wires that will carry 30 amps over and bring them into this switch panel. So these wires will run over from the main circuit, the main AC panel, entrance house AC panel, and they'll come over and they'll go into these 3 spots, which are the incoming spots into the panel and into the ground bar, the green ground, the earth ground. Once that gets done, then picked up this panel, and this is a supplementary AC panel that I'm going to put on the wall. Sorry for the photography, folks. I'm going to put on the wall next to the switch panel, and then the outgoing AC running out of the inverter comes back down through these breakers, out through the left side, comes out through the panel, and that will go into my backup or my auxiliary AC load panel. So that's kind of where we are right now. I'll get a few of these projects done, and then I'll get back with you and show you how it turned out. Take care.